Hello, it's Resender here, and welcome to another episode of Battlefield Mess. Yeah, strange that I'm doing this again. More likely, this is going to be a show where I'll be playing an FPS game, Battlefield, Call of Duty if it's free again, Payday the Heist I've got recently, if you can call that an FPS. But yeah, in these in these videos I rather want to express my opinion on certain topics of the week, either related to the gaming industry, or other stuff, work, etc. that I really want to express. So let's begin with the thing that I learned recently this morning about the Xbox One. The Xbox One will not support Xbox Live Arcade games bought on the Xbox 360. The excuse, and this is really an excuse, is that the Xbox One does not use the same hardware generation as the Xbox 360, and it will take emulation software-wise to do that, and they don't want to do that. And officially Microsoft's response to the entire problem is, yeah, we know that our clients are important and many people own games on the Xbox Live Arcade, so we suggest to them buy an Xbox 360 in spare. Well, the Xbox 360 is going lower in price, but still, that's not good marketing, guys. It's really not good marketing. So, aren't they the same guys who claim that the difference between console and PC, especially gaming PCs, is diminishing? Which brings back to the fact from that, in my opinion, the only reason is the Xbox One is not a gaming console. It's just Microsoft trying again to get a foothold in a market they're conquering, their competitors control. Look at the Xbox, the original Xbox in 2000. Why did they go in there? Because you had Sony, you had PlayStation is Sony. You had Sony, you had Nintendo, Sega had just quit at the console wars. And Microsoft said, hey, that's an interesting market, it's booming, it's billions and billions of dollars, so they did that as a money grab. The Xbox One is following the same logic. They want a piece of the market that Apple seems to be controlling. They want a device that's for everyday use, that the entire family, and I'm quoting again family, can enjoy and use. Something to centralize in the household. So it's not more a gaming console. It's more like, hey, look, we want to gain in this market. That's also the other reason why they focus so much on TV products and not so much on games. Digital television is in rise. It's very possible to become a very big billion-dollar industry, mostly because more and more countries are injecting analog television broadcast. That means that if you want to watch TV in the future, you're going to have to more and more go digital. So what they did is basically something that's already on the market, except better. And I'm being sarcastic with better because it's everything but better. Yeah, so it's not so good. So in my opinion, still the Xbox One is more to boost sales of Windows 8. The next update of Windows 8 will return a lot of features we are missing currently, so the return of the desktop interface, back to the start menu, etc. But still, the entire concept is wrong. And my fear is that if they are going to include the sales of phones that are running Windows, the Xbox One that's clearly running a version of Windows 8, they are going to include those sales into the Windows 8 global sales, and then they're going to say at the end of this fiscal year, see, we made the right decision to make Windows 8 the way this is what our customers want. And then they can basically, and then they don't have to spend millions of dollars developing next Windows to be back the way it used to be. But that's my opinion. Okay, so Yesterday I went to the avant-premiere of Star Trek Into Darkness. I'm not going to spoil anything about the plot. There are a few things I can remark about it. It is a good movie action-wise. Story-wise, it's quite recycled on Star Trek 3: The Wrath of Khan. It's a recycling of that story. There's a lot of elements of Wrath of Khan that are in Into Darkness, and even worse so, they just changed which character did what in some conditions. The soundtrack, it's the same exact soundtrack as the first movie. Well, the first movie of J.J. Abrams. So that's a bit of an annoying. I had hoped that they would at least do some new songs and new sound effects. Well, new songs, new dramatic music, but no, it's all the same as the previous movie. But of course we know that J.J. Abrams is doing Star Wars, or is supposed to do Star Wars in the near future, which I wish best of luck, because that seems more like a franchise for him than Star Trek. I do say a lot of don't I? The nudity scene, I'm not sure which one they meant. There's two nudity scenes, or almost as good as nudity scenes in there. I can agree with most Star Trek fans that did not really fit in with Star Trek we used to, or more to say it's something we haven't seen since TOS, the original series from the 60s, and even then it was limited. But yeah, these movies are based on Kirk and Spock and the series from the 60s. But yeah, it was more. This movie was more closer to the Star Trek lore than the first movie was, where we had this red matter and all kinds of nonsense. And here, speaking about nonsense, I'm going over this rubble and I'm going to get shot. Okay, we're 7 minutes and 13 seconds in. I'm saying that because that's more like when I move this, but this is post-committing together with the track, I can see whether it matches up. If it doesn't, please forgive me, I'm still learning all of this. And I do have to stop saying all the time. It's really annoying. I just saying that's really annoying, and the first thing I do is say it again. Okay, so yesterday evening, when I was in the movie theaters, I was called by my former boss. And I didn't respond to this because you have to shut down your cell phone in the movie theaters. So I didn't see it until I came back from the movies. I tried to call him yesterday evening, but quite late, so he called me again this morning. He asked, "Are you still looking for a job?" I said, "Yes." "Well, can you come to the office on Tuesday, 8? Oh wait, I don't know if he means 8 PM or 8 AM, but I'll be there at 8 AM, and if he isn't there, then I'll wait for an hour, return home, and return at 8 PM. Bit of a nuisance, but yeah, you have to do stuff for work. So hopefully he's going to offer me, he's going to rehire me. That would be, on one hand, nice. On the other, I'm not going to be happy. On top of that, yesterday I went to my union, because because it's the end of the month and I had to give in my unemployment forms for May. And okay, I once complained from again, hey, I signed in to the to the organization for the unemployed, that I became unemployed the 1st of April. I had my C4, I had my subscription, and no, not my subscription, my inscription to this fact that I am employed on the 17th of April. I still haven't gotten my money. This is the 3rd time I've asked for this with my union. And yeah, and the guy said, and I really don't like this guy at this office, because he's kind of grumpy and not really customer friendly, I would say. He said, yeah, it's going to be, we received it, it will be on your bank account this afternoon. And the money for me will be on your bank account by Monday. Guess what isn't on my bank account? Yeah, right, the money for April. I can check now, but yesterday evening at around 8 PM, 8 PM, no, about 11 PM it was still not on my bank balance. And since it's a Saturday day now. It's Saturday now, and they don't work on Saturdays. It won't be on my bank balance today, unless it's some miracle. So I could change union. There's 3 unions in Belgium. You have the Christian, the Socialist, and the Liberal Union. I'm with the Liberal Union because that's the only union that that lies in line with my political convictions, and I can't stand Christian Union because then you associate with what used to be the biggest political party in my country, and they don't do a good job. And the Socialist at the moment, I support socialism. Socialism we know in Europe. I just don't support the fact from socialism until the degree that you don't have private organizations because the government taxes too much to keep the social system up. That's the problem now in Europe. Socialist parties have completely lost sense of direction on that, but yeah. Okay, so back to Battlefield Mess. We're about 10 minutes in. 11 minutes actually. And there's a few more minutes until this round finishes. So I'm getting better. I'm now rank 2 by the moment you speak this. I'm more comfortable with the controls. I've set them in, but then still not optimal. I still have to do a lot of things to change. Get it on the keyboard. Because I'm autistic, and every autist is different, one of my problems I have is that I don't have full access over my hands. So I can't time blind, so I don't, and because I have an A30 keyboard, I can't use WASD. So I reconfigure to the arrow keys, and so I've got my right hand on my mouse, I've got my left hand positioned on the arrow keys, and so I'm most FPSs I'm now setting up keys that are closer to that I can actually more or less push. In Crysis 3, strangely enough, I use the S key for the cloaking function, and that's all the way down there, but that's something I can easily do because that's my strategy in Crysis 3. Cloak up, stay cloaked until you get an advantage, cloak back up, search next target. And that's why I don't really like Crysis 3. That's why I liked Call of Duty, because it was the same interface as Crysis 3. The weapons felt the same, except there was no cloaking, so it was easier to spot a target, which could have explained why I'm having trouble in Crysis 3. Yeah, and here we go with the again. Battlefield 3, I still don't really like the concept. It looks pretty and all, but yeah, that's what I don't like, the browser, but I said that last time. The fact that you have a browser window instead of a proper, when you push the button it launches the game. No, it goes to browser. Even for the single player you have to go to the browser. That's really annoying, especially for me, because that means that if I play multiplayer and I encounter a key or function that I haven't used yet, I have to go into options and set the key, which makes me vulnerable to everybody shooting me. Not as handy as the fact that if you start a game, you come in the main menu and then you can go to settings. So unless I'm missing something, there is no key for that, or there are no settings on the browser page.